A U.S. airman makes the ultimate sacrifice for a cause he deemed worth dying for.
A woman rescued from her car by Denton police officers, and it's all caught on body cam.
Texas ranks second in the U.S. for the fewest nurses per capita. Stay with us to find out how UNT is addressing this issue.
Broadcasting live from the University of North Texas, this is ntTV News at Noon.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining ntTV News at Noon. I'm Drew Maurer.
And I'm Kennedy McGregor. A U.S. Air Force member has died after setting himself ablaze in front of the Israeli embassy in Washington, D.C. This act of protest, known as self-immolation, comes in response to the ongoing Israel-Hamas conflict. Before setting the blaze, Bushnell yelled, quote, "I will no longer be complicit in genocide." His last words were, "Free Palestine." Before he fell to the ground, paramedics arrived and transported him to a hospital where he later died. No one else was hurt, and the incident is under investigation at this time.
A possible ceasefire in the conflict between Israel and Gaza is looming as communications between the two parties intensify. CNN's political and national security analyst David Sanger spoke on the issue.
Yeah, it took everybody by surprise, Rosemary, and I think for several reasons. First of all, it's a little bit of a black box what's going on in these negotiations. Second, figuring out timing is difficult since the negotiations require the approval of the military arm of Hamas. And of course, they're deep in the tunnels and the communications with them have been very indirect. So that's been, part of the delay. Third, it's a little bit hard to imagine a situation in which you get the first 40 hostages out. That would be roughly half of what we believe the number of Israelis who are now held, or Israelis and Americans and some others. And then after a ceasefire of 40 days or so, you go through for a second round, and in that time, the buildup is supposed to happen. And there's a lot that can go wrong there. You could have either side declare that they haven't been fully transparent or executed on the releases. You could have complaints that the aid isn't coming in fast enough, that the rebuilding isn't going on quickly enough. But I think there's a lot of pressure on President Biden now as he enters these uncontested primaries and heads to the State of the Union to show that there's some progress, and some pressure on Prime Minister Netanyahu.
A lot of moving parts must work together to achieve this goal, but lack of open communications might cause some issues. Man, Kennedy, I gotta be honest, when I walked outside yesterday, I thought it was the middle of summer. But it's February and it's Texas, so I don't have any words for that.
Yeah, Texas weather is so ever-changing. I mean, it really makes me wonder what the rest of the week is going to look like. Our weather anchor, Trey Francis, is here to tell us. Trey?
That's right, y'all. You never know what you're going to get when it comes to Texas weather. But now going to our current temperatures here in Denton, looking at a nice 79 degrees, just like yesterday, nice warm afternoon. And it's going to feel like 79 degrees as well. Wind speeds coming out of the southwest with 19 miles per hour. As we go into tonight's conditions, it's going to stay pretty much the same. Going to drop only a few degrees there. 73 degrees will be the temperature, and that's what it's going to feel like. And those winds will be coming out of the southwest at 17 miles per hour. But when we go into tomorrow's conditions, things are going to change up a bit. It's not what we're used to seeing. It's going to be 47 degrees for the temperature. It's going to feel like 40, so grab those jackets that you already stowed away in the closet, and those wind speeds will be coming out of the north at 17 miles per hour. Now that's all I have. I'll be back in the show with the 7-day forecast.
Thanks, Trey. This Friday, March 1st, is the deadline for Congress to pass a funding bill, but neither side can come to an agreement. Here's what Senate Majority Chuck Schumer had to say.
This Friday, unless both sides act quickly, the federal government will enter a partial shutdown, with yet another funding deadline looming a week after that. Agriculture, transportation, veterans programs, and more will be thrown into chaos this Friday. if we fail to extend funding. As I've said throughout the 118th Congress, there is no justification, none, for provoking a government shutdown. Democrats strongly oppose shutdowns, and I know many of my Republican Senate colleagues, including the Republican leader, want to avoid one as well. And we Democrats want to work with them to ensure that a shutdown does not happen. And look, we realize the Speaker of the House is in a difficult position. But he must reject the MAGA hard right, which wants a shutdown, wants to hurt America, and which does not represent a majority of Republicans in the House, a majority of Republicans in the Senate, and a majority of Republicans in America, let alone all Americans. So if both sides work together, if we reject poison pills that can never become law, and if we tune out the extreme radical voices of the hard right, then the task before us becomes much, much easier.
Next, a trapped woman was rescued from her car by a Denton police officer. We have the body cam footage.
And would you want to know how you can conserve your money and energy? We'll find out after the break.
All right, look up here. 1, 2, 3. Mom, Dad, I got it.
You're right, Mom. I have.
What's wrong? Are you stuck in your paper?
Pretty much. I haven't written anything in like an hour.
Why don't you check out the writing center at UNT?
Well, how do I meet up with them?
All you have to do to make an appointment is visit the Writing Center's website and either call the number or email writingcenter@unt.edu. The appointment is 30 minutes long, and the trained tutors will be able to help with brainstorming, correcting grammar, ensuring clarity, and a wide range of services. They also do walk-in appointments.
That sounds awesome. I'm gonna check them out.
So, what's this paper do?
30 minutes.
For more information, visit the UNT Writing Center's website.
Yeah, it's 6 pages.
There's no harm in wanting to have fun while in college, but it's easy to lose track of how much you've had. Apps like Drink Control and Alkadroid can help keep track of your consumption and blood alcohol levels. If you or someone else does drink too much, the signs of alcohol poisoning are as follows: pale skin, vomiting, confusion, low body temperatures, irregular breathing, blacking out, and is hard to wake up or cannot be woken up.
Dude, are you okay? Hey, what's wrong? Wake up.
It's an exciting time of year, but it's important to be responsible. If you suspect someone is suffering from alcohol poisoning, get help immediately. You will not get in trouble for seeking help if you are underage. For more info and resources, go to UNT's Division of Student Affairs.
A Denton woman was rescued from her overturned vehicle in a creek last night. According to Denton police, they received a call around 2:30 a.m. stating that a woman had driven off a bridge along I-35 West, south of Vintage Boulevard, upon arrival. Officers Hupp and Lopez found the woman trapped inside her overturned vehicle, and she began honking when officers shouted out to her, and the officers noticed the steering wheel moving. Officer Lopez then broke the rear driver's window and pulled the woman through and brought her to dry ground. The woman was the only one inside the vehicle and was treated for minor injuries on the scene. A DWI investigation has been launched as this situation develops.
After dominating the competition for over a decade, major department store chain Macys is downsizing. It plans to close 150 underperforming stores in the next few years. Meanwhile, Macys will open several smaller versions of Bloomingdale's and Bluemercury as part of a turnaround effort, calling it a bold new chapter. The motive behind the move is to fend off activist investors and boost Macys' stock price and sales.
PlayStation's creator Sony Interactive Entertainment has plans to lay off 900 people from its workforce. The layoff eliminates 8% of Sony's workforce, with the entire London studio closing down. In the announcement email, Jim Ryan, Sony CEO, said, "We had to step back, look at our business holistically, and move forward focusing on the long-term sustainability of the company and delivering the best experience possible for our community." This news follows a brutal year for video game developers as the industry saw a massive decline from the short-lived surge in consumption during the COVID-19 pandemic. Sony is not alone in mass layoffs. Earlier this month, Microsoft Gaming, Sony's top competitor, announced a layoff of 1,900 employees.
Well, I heard a rumor, just a rumor, that it's going to rain later this week, but I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, I mean, you really can never tell in Texas. Luckily, our weather anchor, Trey Francis, is going to tell us how it's looking for the rest of the week. Trey?
Now you guys might be onto something there with that rain, but for now, like I said earlier, 79 here in Denton, 77 Fort Worth, 69 in Dallas. A little different across the Metroplex, but as you go out here, you see the Graham is at 80 degrees, and when you flip over this side, it looks a little bit different. Sulphur Springs and Paris, they're at 72 and 73. But now, whenever we go to the regional map, you'll see Abilene at 82, Amarillo up there 66. The state of Texas, they just can't get it right. It's not all the same temperatures. It's crazy all across the board. El Paso out here at 68 degrees. And guys, like you said with that rain, let's check it out in that 7-day forecast. We see it, there it is, 40% chance there on Thursday. The next couple days, a little bit chilly. Low of 40, low of 39 there on Thursday in the 50s and 40s. But guess what? We go back into those 70s just where we like to be. 73 degrees Friday, and then up to the high 70s, 78 and 79. And then Monday and Tuesday back to those low 70s. And make sure to grab those jackets, early in the morning. It's going to be in the 40s, mid 40s, sometimes the low 50s. So grab those jackets, bundle up, but you'll be shedding them later on. But that's all I have for the 7-day forecast, and stay tuned for the sports 7-day forecast in just a little bit. Now back to you guys.
Thanks, Trey. Well, Kennedy, this weather has been insane, and I feel like I'm rotating through AC, heat, like back and forth, back and forth. I'm really worried about seeing my energy bill, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I totally agree. But you know what? Our segment anchor, Paisley McGee, has a story that will save all of our wallets. Paisley?
With this Texas weather jumping from hot to cold in a matter of days, that means your electricity and water bill will be doing the same thing. So here are a couple of ways to keep a little bit of money in your pocket. The first tip is to turn off your lights. That may sound simple, but running lights means running electricity, and that means money running away from your pockets. So any lights that are not in use, turn them off. Especially doing this when it is hot outside can help keep your home cool. Another tip is to wash your laundry once you have a full load instead of a partial load. A bonus tip is if you wash your laundry on cold water instead of hot, you can save about $60 a year. Lastly, take shorter showers. I know we all love to enjoy a long hot shower after a stressful day, but it can raise your water bill. If you cut your shower time to 10 minutes or switch your shower head to a 2.5 gallon per minute shower head, it will use less water, which will save you around 5 gallons of water compared to a bath, which in turn could save you around $150 a year. If you want more tips, go to justenergy.com/tips for college students. That's all for my story. Back to y'all at the desk.
Thanks, Paisley. Well, listen up, UNT students. Get ready for a game changer in student services here at the University of North Texas. With the introduction of UNT OneStop initiative, navigating administrative hurdles from admissions to graduation is about to get a whole lot easier for you. Let's check it out.
The OneStop is a place where students can go to get questions that they have answered about enrollment services. So if they have questions about admissions, so that would be students who haven't quite been enrolled yet, or their student account or financial aid, or if they need money management coaching, they can come here. And so it's just kind of one place where they can go to get all those questions answered.
This spring, the University of North Texas unveiled the UNT OneStop initiative. It is an effort aimed at enhancing the journey of every student from admission to graduation.
As soon as you enter the Eagle Student Services Center, you'll see that it's sectioned off into two separate floors. The first floor is the office of the registrar, and the second floor is the one that we'll be checking out today, which is the UNT OneStop. Let's go. And we're here. And as soon as you walk into the OneStop, you'll be able to see a QR code where you can use your phone. And then once it's open, you can decide what you want to be assisted with, whether it's admissions, financial services, or the registrar.
Yeah, I told my mom that. She's like, I don't know if that's...
It was my first time at the OneStop, and I just had some questions about like classes and like refunds, and then if like a grant was like legit, and they were super helpful, and like it didn't take a long time like at all, so it was nice.
With the UNT One-Stop initiative in full swing, students can expect a smoother and more supportive experience as they navigate their academic journey at the University of North Texas.
Especially when they see a student, they know that, you know, they're in very like pretty much good hands, considering like we're all pretty much in this together.
So next time you find yourselves at the Student Eagle Services Center, make sure to make a stop at the UNT One-Stop.
Walk-in appointments are available Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday from 8:15 a.m. to 4 p.m. and on Tuesdays from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Are you interested in studying nursing at UNT? You'll want to stay with us.
Do you have a competitive corgi? Well, get ready for an exciting opportunity for your pooch. More after the break.
Willis Library, located at the University of North Texas. It has computers, printers, and the building is open 24/7. By going online, you can book up to an hour of reserved space in one of the many private study rooms. Many of them are equipped with whiteboards, a table, and a TV to hook up to your computer. Textbooks can be checked out for free with a student ID. They also have many of these in ebook forms. This is still a library, so always remember to be quiet and respectful of other surroundings, especially in certain places where talking is not allowed. For example, the 3rd and 4th floor are completely quiet. As you can see, Willis Library has many options for students, with it offering many media sources and staying open all the time.
I'm so tired. I feel ugly. I'm not okay. I didn't know UNT had counseling services. Maybe I should check it out. This looks like the place.
Has this ever happened to you?
My bike! My bike is gone!
Stolen bikes are an epidemic sweeping college campuses across America.
What am I supposed to do?
It's quite simple. The We Mean Green Fund has partnered with the UNT Police Department to offer free bike locks to any UNT student with a bike. Just show up with your bike in tow and ask.
Now I'll never lose my bike ever again.
Enough worrying. Get your bike lock today.
UNT is adding 2 new nursing degrees to combat the nursing shortage in Texas. Live at UNT's Student Wellness Center is reporter Crystal Cooper. What do you have for us, Crystal?
Oh, thanks, Drew. I'm currently outside UNT's Health and Wellness Center, and as Texas ranks 2nd and for the U.S. fewest nurses per capita, in the past 2 years, 30,000 candidates were turned away due to the lack of nursing programs offered in the state. To address the shortage, UNT is offering 2 new undergraduate and graduate nursing degrees. Sydney Weston, the Dean of Health Science College of Nursing, states that both degrees will equip students with professional nursing skills that will transform the health communities. The degrees are pending approval from the Texas Higher Education Coordination Board, the Southern Association of Colleges, and the Schools Commission on Colleges. If approved, the programs will be available to students at the UNT's Health Science Center in Fort Worth starting fall of 2025. Thanks for tuning in, and back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Crystal. 2 weeks ago, UNT's president, Neil Smatras, announced he was stepping down from his position after almost 10 years of service. ntTV news director Mauricio Ortiz Segura sat down with him for an exclusive interview. Let's take a look.
When we heard the announcement, we were all kind of surprised. You know, you're kind of a big celebrity around town. I don't know if you knew, but so I guess my first question would be, why? What made you decide to finally step away from UNT after making it your home for 10 years?
Well, so let me first say, I'm not really stepping away. I'm going to go be a professor for a little while. And I really look forward to it because what got me into this is the idea that what I did in the classroom could change someone's life. Of course, as a president, I got to do that at a much larger scale, but it's not quite as personal. I got here 10 years ago. It was a great reception. I felt so positive about the place. I looked around and I said, you know, UNT is capable of great things. If we can have stable leadership for about 10 years, we're going to accomplish a lot. And in fact, I've been lucky enough to be a president that made it 10 years. So for me, that combination of building a strong team and a stable leadership platform has driven virtually all our success, having realized the big things, becoming Tier 1, becoming HSI, MSI, doubling and redoubling our research output, joining the American Athletic Conference, building a new Frisco landing program, being the third largest school in Texas, eclipsing Houston now, which just makes me really happy. All of those things collectively are achievements that mean we've hit the mountaintops we were looking for. And now it's time to pass the baton and let fresh vision and new leadership take us to the next heights.
Absolutely. You've definitely accomplished a lot more than many universities can say they've done in 10 years. And it's been absolutely incredible as someone who has to report on the news on the daily, get to report on everything impressive that UNT has managed to accomplish under your leadership. And I suppose a good question would be, who's next? Do you have any idea who might be next to fill the shoes?
I have no idea. That'll be our chancellor and board who make that determination. I hope it's someone who is well-versed in higher ed and is capable of negotiating what might be the most challenging times ever for higher ed. Coming out of COVID, there were learning losses. There's a loss and erosion of confidence in higher education generally. Is it worth the degree? Is higher ed affordable? There's mental health issues. There's learning loss challenges that are going to have a long-lasting impact on American higher education. There's artificial intelligence, there's fiscal challenges, there's a lot. Whoever comes in needs to be prepared to handle those, and I hope can continue supporting the caring nature of our campus and the team that we've built here.
This is just the first part in our 4-part series with the UNT president, so make sure you tune back in every night this week at 6 to catch the rest of this exclusive interview.
The debate between whether or not court storming should be banned has intensified. Duke's Kyle Filipowski was left injured on Saturday after being struck by a fan when Wake Forest upset Duke. Here to talk with me about the issue is our sports anchor, Trey Francis. And Trey, this is clearly an issue. It seems like it's not a matter of if, but it's a matter of when it'll be banned. And Duke's head coach, John Shire, was quoted saying, "When are we going to ban court storming?" So tell us a little bit about what's going on here.
Yeah, Drew, I don't blame him for thinking that. I mean, court storming, it's clearly been an issue across the league. Just a couple weeks ago, we saw a similar situation happen when Iowa lost to Ohio State with Caitlin Clark. And there's currently some rules to it, obviously, but most conferences have fines or some sort of reprimand. But the ACC currently has no fines for court storming.
Yeah, and on that, I have to think that the ACC is going to crack down on it now that this has happened. And as for Kyle Filipowski, is there any update on the injury that he suffered on Saturday, or do we have anything on that?
Yeah, Drew, Filipowski's status right now, it's unknown, but it's thought to be a minor ankle injury, and his status for Wednesday's matchup against Louisville, it's still unclear.
Well, thanks so much, Trey. Hopefully, Filipowski will be good to go for Wednesday. But I heard there was a game last night here in Dallas that went into overtime. So what do you have for us on that, Trey?
Yes, Drew, that's right. It was crazy overtime. But what's new with the Stars going to overtime, am I right? We should be used to that by now. When we come back, I'll recap the overtime thriller and find out about the big money man being in lineup for the Dodgers. So don't go anywhere.
So a man's been walking in the desert for days at a time. He finally comes across a bar and orders a Coke.
That's not funny.
Eh? Eh?
Well, we all know how the Stars love their overtime games, and yep, you guessed it, there was another one last night. And the Stars welcomed the New York Islanders to the American Airlines Center, and early in the first period, it's Ryan Pulock on the snap shot to give the Islanders the 1-0 lead. But the Stars had an answer. Midway through the second period, it's Matt Duchene on the power play to tie it up. And towards the end of the second, it's the Islanders taking their lead back to make it 2-1 on a slap shot from Kyle McLean. But it was time for the newest member of the Stars to shine, as Wyatt Johnson passes it to the birthday boy, 21st birthday, Logan Stankoven, as he pockets his first career goal in the NHL to tie it at 2. And after a quiet third period, this one went to overtime, and the Stars fell to the Islanders just a couple minutes into that on a Bo Horvat goal. The Stars have a big one tonight, though, against the Colorado Avalanche at 8:30, and we'll see if they can bounce back. Now, it's spring training, and the Los Angeles Dodgers, they'll have the biggest and most expensive member of their team back in the lineup against the White Sox and Shohei Ohtani. He's coming off winning an American League MVP for the Los Angeles Angels, and that earned him a 10-year deal worth $700 million. Yes, $700 million. This offseason, which is the biggest contract in the league, we know the guy does it all with hitting, pitching, and that is why he is called Showtime Ohtani. But after the injury to his arm, he won't be able to pitch until the 2025 season. So we'll have to see if he can continue where he left off last season. And that's all I've got for sports. Now back to y'all at the desk.
Thanks, Trey. Well, you've heard of the Puppy Bowl. You've heard of the Great Race. But have you heard of the Great Puppy Race coming to UNT? Mean Green Sports is looking for the cutest corgis in town to race during the halftime show of the spring green and white football game. Register your pooch by March 27th, and fans will vote on the top 10 finalists to compete in the green and white game. That'll be held on Saturday, April 6th at 2 p.m. And for more information, you can check out Mean Green Sports on X. And Kennedy, I don't know if I'll be putting my dog in the Puppy Bowl here, but what about you? I mean, I'm not going to be entering contestant, but I'm going to be front row because I love it. Yeah, my dogs would lose, so that's why we won't put it in there. But thank you for watching ntTV News at Noon. Join us again tonight at 6 and tomorrow at noon here on North Texas Television.